Welcome to Edifying Together with Tamir D. Harper, a podcast dedicated to empowering teachers of color, brought to you by Edifying Teachers, the fastest growing community of educators of color in the country. Join us throughout the school year as we follow the journey of Tamir Harper, a black male educator in his first year as a classroom teacher in West Philly.
Hey, what's up, beautiful people? It's your favorite podcast host and favorite first-year teacher, Tamir Harper, and I'm so excited for you to be listening to Edifying Together. Edifying Together has a journey and a start to a journey just like every other podcast and situation. This podcast and this journey started with Arthur Jones Jr. We call him AJ so lovingly.
What does that mean as a young brother who's about to jump into the education workforce?
It means a lot because I'm not going to lie. Oftentimes I second guess it. Am I ready to be a teacher? Should I be doing something else? And we can't go away from the knowledge of how much teachers get paid. I'm a first generation college student. I'm like, I can be doing a lot of other things that will make six figures within a year or two, but my dedication to teaching, and he continues to remind me that teaching is a field that you can make money, but most importantly, teaching is the field that you can give back like no other. Because that's going to decide the next doctors, the next teachers, the next lawyers, the next engineers, the next podcast host, right? Because they are going to have someone that loved on them to show them what's possible.
Mm-hmm. You threw that podcast host in there. You trying to start your own thing too?
Nah, good brother. I'm just going to be here with you.
Well, come on. I appreciate you coming on, man.
AJ allowed me to fulfill my second dream. My first dream was to go back to the city that made me who I am, the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection, and teach students that look like me. The second dream is to share this journey to hopefully not only inspire, but tell the truths about being not only a first-year teacher, but a black male educator in a system where less than 2% of the nation's public school teachers are black males. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to AJ. Not only my big bro as someone that I look up to, but also my fraternity brother, a brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Dr. Warren. And we're going to be coming to you all fairly often. He's going to be talking to me about some tips and tricks that you all and we can use together as educators, but also really to just keep me grounded as I enter the classroom the next day and the day after and the day after. It seems like it is never ending, but it is already a joy and a pleasure to teach the beautiful 8th graders in West Philadelphia at Lee School.
All right. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Warren. We have the Maryland State Teacher of the Year, international speaker, professor at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and most important to me is my fraternity brother. Dr. Warren, tell us about you and your time in the classroom being named Teacher of the Year for Maryland.
Thank you, Tamir. Honored to be here. My time in the classroom of being Teacher of the Year to Maryland was kind of pulled in different directions, honestly. On one hand, I had to serve as the instructional expert in the classroom. But on the other hand, I had to serve as an advocate for all the best and brightest educators in the state of Maryland. And so my time was split. When I wasn't in the classroom, I was out advocating, out inspiring, out motivating, doing workshops to make sure that the teachers who are in front of our children were adequately prepared, but also had the heart to go behind their instruction. And so several times, I had to inspire, motivate, push, and challenge teachers in that arena to take care of our babies.
Nah, that's important. And that instructional expert and advocating for our teachers and students. And you're still doing that work now in a higher education capacity. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. And so now my work is grounded in how do we make sure we can recruit, develop, and support Black and brown teachers, special emphasis on male teachers. Right. And also, how do we make sure that we provide the best experiences for our Black and brown boys in schools? And so my current role is the director for the UMES Men of Color in Education program. And I also teach part-time teacher preparation. And so I'm building up capacity for teachers on the front end, recruiting on one end, and also providing spaces and creating spaces for our Black and brown boys to see themselves as educators.
That's amazing, Dr. Warren. And we appreciate you doing all of this. And as I am preparing to enter the classroom next year, and as you're teaching future educators, what is one piece of advice you have for an incoming teacher or new teacher that's in a classroom for the first time this year?
I would say bring your authentic self into the classroom. There is no one model that dictates how an effective teacher can come to pass. And so I will say bring your authentic self into the space and let your students teach you how to teach them, right? We know that there are cross-cutting concepts in terms of what's best pedagogy or promising pedagogy. So have that, but present your authentic self. What makes you who you are? What part about your identity can you bring to your classroom that can make change? And how can you listen, observe, build relationships in a way that you let your students teach you how to teach them?
Let your students teach you how to teach them. That's one I'm going to have to make sure I have in my classroom on my desk, because that is a constant reminder. And as we're doing this work, Edifying Teachers is here to support teachers of color, first-year teachers, incoming teachers, and et cetera. Why are you supporting Edifying Teachers?
Well, I'm coming into this work as actually an alternative route certified teacher. I didn't go to school originally to get my undergraduate degree in teaching. And I'll never forget this. The first time I was ever invited back to a space that I never even imagined I would go to, I was invited back by a Black administrator, right? And I came into the school system as a mentor, and then I started substitute teaching. But it was that Black administrator, I'll never forget his name, Mr. Kevin Taylor. He invited me into a space. He supported me. He gave me an opportunity to build relationships with students, and he planted the seed and he helped water it. And I still talk to him to this day. And if it wasn't for Mr. Taylor inviting me back to the schools, if it wasn't for Mr. Taylor creating a space for me to realize my potential, if it wasn't for Mr. Taylor giving me strategies, calls, and advice, I wouldn't, one, be in the schools, period. But two, I wouldn't be able to make the impact that I desperately desire to do with the children in the schools. And so mentorship is a key and critical component, not only to help you survive, but to help you thrive, and also to help you go beyond the scope of the classroom to advocate for the education profession. So mentorship is super important.
Absolutely. And we need more Mr. Taylors, more Dr. Warrens, and so many more in the classroom, because 2% of our nation's public school teachers being Black males are not enough. And we know it is even disproportionate with our Latino and Hispanic community. So we are Edifying Teachers, and we are doing the work to push the needle forward and support all of our educators in the classroom. Dr. Warren, we appreciate you so much. Any parting words that you would like to tell to everyone viewing today?
Yeah. Success on any level is preceded by supports on many levels. And we are Edifying Teachers.
Thank you for tuning in to Edifying Together with Tamir D. Harper, a podcast dedicated to empowering teachers of color, brought to you by Edifying Teachers. Edifying Together is a joint production based on the award-winning Education Reboot podcast from Arthur Jones II, hosted by Tamir D. Harper.